By the truth, no be for sailing.
No be marketing where you feed price. Truth no they for shelf, no they wear disguise. To buy a mean, to chase I'm hold I'm tight. I never trade, I'm even in darkest night.
They say buy the truth, no sell 'em. Proverbs talk, but this no be trade with money or stock.
Okay,
Truth no they shell, no
let's
they
look at
shop.
the
Now wisdom treasure way they
trending
make so
incidents of the Yoruba man, the popular Yoruba man. I think they call him K1, a musician, a very popular musician that almost got killed on the tarmac of the Nnamdi Airport in Abuja because of what I consider as ego and not willing to comply to rules. So it all happened on August 5th, and a dramatic incident that unfolded at the Nnamdi International Airport in Abuja, Nigeria. It involved the renowned Fuji musician. They call him K1, King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal, also known as K1 the Ultimate. The episode sparked widespread attention and debate, obviously because of the image of the person involved, and it's centered around the confrontation between K1 and the crew of ValueJet flight VK201, which was bound for Lagos. It escalated to a dangerous safety breach on the tarmac. According to reports from the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAAN, and other aviation authorities, the incidents began during the boarding process at the domestic terminal. K1 attempted to board the flight with an unidentified liquid substance, which was later confirmed to be alcohol in a flask, and and it exceeded the 100 ml limit allowed under Nigeria's National Civil Aviation Security Program, NCAA, and other international civil aviation organization, ICAC, Annex 17 regulations. But despite repeated warnings from aviation security personnel and the flight captain, K1 reportedly refused to comply with the regulations, which prohibits carrying liquid over 100 ml unless it is medically necessary and properly declared. This is very important. No one have said that he couldn't carry something into the airplane. Okay, if it is medically proved, because I saw later that he was talking about that it was prescribed for him because he used to dehydrate. Well, you will have just done the honorable thing of declaring it, you know. But if you didn't do that, they had the right, I believe, to ask you not to take it in. So as the situation escalated, an airline security officer asked K1 to step aside, for further clarification. But instead of complying, K1 allegedly spilled the alcohol on the officer. He spilled it on the officer, leading to a heightened tension at that very point. So the flight captain had to intervene. It was at that point she intervened and to trying to de-escalate the matter, and that was the tension. But she too faced similar resistance from K1. Okay, so at this point, obviously, your guess will be as good as mine if you were the pilot too and you had to beat your time, because don't forget the flights are scheduled. So, and there are other passengers, because in all of this we needed to also look at consider other passengers that were on the same flight who had to meet up with their time. So you couldn't have expected that she would have wasted all her time, with one particular passenger. There are probably about, I believe, about 60 or more people in that were supposed to fly in that airplane. So after boarding was completed, the captain instructed the aircraft door to be closed, and at this point K1 moved to the front of the aircraft while on the tarmac, and he refused to leave. He refused to leave, and it was reported that he even positioned himself to block the plane from taxiing to the runway. Can you imagine that? I felt so embarrassed watching some of the videos. You see it in the video there. He actually blocked the runway. So this act has been described by the aviation minister Festus Keyamo as akin to hostage situation. Yeah, that's what it looks like. He was like taking the rest of the crew and passengers on a hostage. And this is a serious breach of safety protocols. The situation took a dangerous turn, however, when the ValueJet pilot began taxiing the aircraft despite K1's presence on the tarmac. And the reports we have read shows that K1 had to duck under the wing of the aircraft to avoid being struck. Can you imagine that? You could actually see him in that video ducking, to avoid being struck, and he narrowly escaped injury or death. God forbid if the plane had propellers, okay? It wouldn't be talking what we're talking now. So I think people have to know when to, put a stop to certain things. You can never be bigger than the law, okay? Aviation is operated on international law basis. So even if you are big in your country, even if the aircraft is owned by somebody in your country, don't forget, when you come to the airport, you have to behave. I think K1 lost it here. Okay, so perhaps now we would have been mourning our beloved K1, but thank God it didn't happen. So FAAN and other sources have noted that this reckless action by the pilot compounded the safety violation. Well, they called the action of the of the pilot reckless. What I don't know how reckless she was really, because she had to meet up with time, and I believe it all happened in the open. It was not that she deliberately wanted to harm somebody. Somebody was actually holding the people hostage. What were you expecting her to do in such a situation? And she was being held hostage with the whole crew, and the whole passengers were being held hostage. What would she have done in that split second? She took the decision that she felt was the best, which was to continue with the flight. And being prevented, you could see that she taxied. Someone described it as she drove the airplane like a local bus driver. Okay, so however, she probably been sanctioned for doing that, because according to the FAAN, it's a violation of protocols, as international protocol mandates that no aircraft should taxi while individuals remain unsecured on the tarmac. So there are several posts on X and other places that describe this scene vividly, and there's one that even mentioned that K1 keeps jumping to the plane. It's funny, despite efforts by security to remove him. And another stating that the pilot turned to a downfall driver. So these are some of the comments that when you go on X, you can find those comments there. But what is the response of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, and FAAN and all of this? They acted swiftly. Now we need to take note of that, and I think this is something that we should applaud these institutions for. That's what we're saying, that our institutions be able to be living up to their responsibility at all times. So the NCAA suspended the licenses of the two ValueJet pilots immediately. So these pilots are Captain Oluranti Ogoyi and First Officer Ivan Olubabot. So pending full investigation into what actually happened and into their conduct. So at the same time, ValueJet removed them from active duty and launched an internal probe, thereby reaffirming his commitment to safety. Well, I think they just did that to calm nerves. I believe after the investigation, you will see that these pilots actually took what they felt at that point was the best thing to do. What if it was a terror attack? You never can tell who might be used. What would you expect the pilot to have done at the time? Because they were being held hostage as it were. So what do you expect the pilot to have done? So I think you wouldn't blame her for any action that she has taken at that split second. I don't think she should be held responsible for that. I believe justice should be served at the end of the day. Meanwhile, the Minister of Aviation, Kayamo, in a statement shared his X handle on Thursday, August 7th. What's that? That should be on Thursday. Is it Thursday or Friday? Okay. So he condemned both K1's action and the crew's response as a temporary loss of sanity and control on both sides. So, and then he ordered the NCAA to place K1 on a no-flight list, instructing all domestic and international airlines to comply or risk losing their operating licenses. He also emphasized that K1's act of obstructing the aircraft was totally unacceptable, and that the pilot's decision to taxi was a breach of the ICAO standards. Well, when this kind of things happen, the next thing will be to try to polish images here and there. Being a brand and marketing person myself, I know that the public affairs people jump into this, and they actually did. Like the Obiageli Ora, that is the Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection at FAAN, reiterated the agency's commitment to safety, stating that no individual, regardless of status, could undermine aviation regulations. The authority as the FAAN confirmed that K1 was escorted off the tarmac by AV6 crime unit for questioning. Yeah, that's the right thing to do. I should have questioned him. They should have him questioned why he had to behave in such a manner that looks as if he's holding the airplane to hostage. But he was later released, and the investigation into the incidents remain ongoing, with promises of prosecution for those who are found culpable. Well, I look at it that the security men, I believe there should have been certain checks before K1 gets to this point of boarding the plane. Is it that they didn't notice that all along, or so this needs to be investigated? Probably the first person that had contact with him, thank God there should be CCTV cameras at the airport, so we could see if the security men at every point actually challenged him or checked what he was carrying, before he got to the tarmac to board the plane. So there should have been some kind of series of security checks along the way. So were this done? If this were not done, or these people have to be brought to book, I believe. So it shouldn't just be about the pilot. It shouldn't just be about the last security people on the tarmac. How about all the other ones? Did they do their job? If they didn't, then they should be held responsible, because obviously they have almost put the life of all the passengers at risk. God forbid if it was a terrorist planned attack, right? So this K1, a very respected Yoruba man and a very popular musician, I must tell you, I love his music too. He actually was sober. I saw him on TV, and he was sober in his response. He gave a public apology. He had
Good
issued a
afternoon,
public
gentlemen
apology
and ladies
on
of the
August
press.
5th. He did that on August
Dear
5th.
presence, my name is Olasukomi Ayinde Marshall, also known as K1 the Ultimate. I am here to make clarification of the incident that happened on the 5th of August 2025 at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport local wing while about to board aircraft from Abuja to Lagos. The incident is highly regrettable because I have contributed the better part of my life in the past 50 years to the growth and development of Nigeria, my country, art and culture, both in and out of the country. I've been a good ambassador of this great nation, in and out, in very many ways. Somebody like me should not be found in such incidents. I accept responsibility and appealing to Mr. President, the country, the Honorable Minister for Aviation, the FAAN, the NCAA, and my fans across the globe to please pardon my behavior. Number one, I passed through 2 checkposts and the content of my cup was screened. Need to say I have any content in the cup. Until I got to the lounge while awaiting the boarding of the aircraft, I pour water in it because of my health situation. I need to be sipping water because I'm dehydrated, as recommended by doctor to me. Like I said, I take full responsibility of all incidents. Once again, I seek forgiveness from Mr. President, the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who is also my father and father of the nation, the Honorable Minister for Aviation, the pilot, the airline staff, passengers, and above all, my fans across the globe, my family, for the incident. My love for the country is unshakable. I am still the darling ambassador of our nation, and I'll continue to carry the banner of this great country everywhere all my life. Thank you once again. Please accept my apology.
This was also corroborated by his media aide, Kunle Rashid, who claimed that the head of airport security, FAAN, NCAA officials, and ValueJet chairman and MD reached out to K1 to apologize. I don't think that's good PR. you shouldn't be reached out to apologize. You should have done the apology without being reached out to. So I think the media guy, no, you didn't get it. You missed it there. No, it shouldn't be reported that he had to be reached out to before he apologized. He should have apologized without being reached out to. But all the same, he apologized and was publicized on most media stations. And okay, and they, I understand they also even offered him private jet to take him down to Lagos. So K1 also pushed back against FAAN's allegation, particularly the claim of pouring alcohol on officials. Well, I guess all this can be investigated, and actually from the security cameras, the truth can be seen. These things were done in the open, so the issue of going back and forth on it should not arise, really, because was all done in the open, and there are security cameras to confirm and corroborate all of this. All right, so obviously he's claiming he didn't pour alcohol on officials. Those specific details of this account were not widely detailed. It's not really available. Some posts online have suggested ethnic undertones, with one user claiming the security officers' rude behavior triggered K1's reaction, while another speculated that the incident could have been framed as an ethnic issue if the pilot has been from a different ethnic group. Well, that's another side to it. But as we could see here, both the pilot and the man in question, they are both Yoruba, a Yoruba lady and a Yoruba man. Well, that's another side to it. Can you imagine what will have the story would have been if the lady were an Igbo lady, for instance, an Igbo lady? I'm sure by now the news will be everywhere that, oh, the Igbos have started again. Or if it had been an Hausa man that was blocking the aircraft, we say, hey, it's the jihadists. Yeah, that's right. But as the story will have it, both the man and the woman and the pilot, the woman, lady pilot, are both Yoruba. So we see now that the Yorubas are in the eye of the storm in this one. So the incident has, however, heightened broader concerns about unruly passenger behavior in Nigeria's aviation sector, with FAAN noting a disturbing trend of passengers disregarding rules or acting aggressively. It also, well, it also sparked debates about privilege. While some have criticized K1's sense of entitlement as a VIP, others are questioning why airport security failed to handle the situation more decisively to prevent him from accessing the tarmac. Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. Well, in summary, the K1 airport incident was a chaotic clash of egos. All right, that's where we see it on Truth TV, on Truth Nation TV. We see it as a clash of egos and errors, marked by the refusal of the Yoruba man musician, refusal to comply with liquid instructions, and a dangerous standoff on the tarmac, and also a reckless Yoruba pilot. Okay, yeah, I know why I'm emphasizing the Yoruba-ness there, because if it had been, I should be saying thank God it wasn't an Igbo with a Yoruba or a Yoruba with an Hausa. Yeah, because the ethnic tensions these days are getting wider. They are getting wider, and we need to, as a country, work towards raising these necessary divisions that were being created recently, even by some like the diaspora coordinator lady, what's her name now, she was on TV the other day stereotyping people from the southeast. So that's not okay. But at the same time, it's good for things like this to happen so that we can see that it's not only those from the southeast that do have issues. People always have issues. So we should stop all the stereotyping and deal with people based on individuality and the personality, not, grouping people into a box and then giving them a label. That wouldn't be right. So, this Yoruba pilot was reckless and he had decision to taxi. Though I understand also that she probably thought that was, who knows, that was the best thing to do. It was a moment of panic. And this led to strict disciplinary actions, including K1's no-fly listing and the suspension of the pilots. I understand that K1 has been suspended for no-fly will be about 6 months. I believe in some climes this should not be much longer than this, maybe some years. But I'm sure the FAAN and NCAA will still look at this when they fully examine what really transpired. And I think the full weight of the law should come down whoever has erred here. Okay, so all right, so this is the bit we can give you on this unfolding story. As it keeps unfolding, we will update you on Truth Nation TV. So don't forget to like this one if we'll be able to share any truth with you. Don't forget, what we do on this channel is to share truth, to let you know what's happening around you in a truthful way, so that you can be better informed to navigate society and be better. Okay, whether it be in Nigeria, Africa, or around the world. Okay, so please do subscribe to our channel and push the notification button so that you can get to know when we are sharing our next or publishing our next video. Thank you for listening into this one. And one thing we need to learn from this video today is ego doesn't always pay. Sometimes you just have to put your ego somewhere and learn to play by the rules, no matter who you know, no matter how you know who you know. It doesn't matter. The way to build an egalitarian society is for us to always obey rules and obey the law. None of us is bigger than the law. I really thank the Aviation Minister for standing his ground in this one. I think I'm beginning to love him. Okay, so thank you for watching this. I'll see you in the next video. I'm Oscar. I'm out.
Buy 'em with your time, with your study, with your faith. Hold 'em like life, but never sell it for pleasure, pressure, or praise. Truth no day for sale. Keep 'em, leave 'em.